All right. Excellent. All right, welcome back, everyone. Glad to have you again for part 2 of the me showing off Final Fantasy XIV. And so, after showing you guys the 2.0 dungeons, I'm going to show you a series of what's known as hard mode trials. I'm going to be showing off a total of 8 of them for you, and showing them off in the way that you would be seeing them if you're new to the game. If it's your first time taking the opportunity to see the game and what it's all about, this will be what it would look like if you're seeing it for the first time. So these 8 trials feature a variety of characters that, if you're familiar with Final Fantasy XIV and its many iterations, you probably know very well. And in some instances, these are brand new original enemies that we'll be confronting. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to show off these trials that I have set up for you. Starting off in the Bowl of Embers. So just like before, time is going to start. I guess I need to clear this off first. There we go. Alright, so as before, time starts when the words duty commenced appear on screen. That's when I have first control in the dungeon. So let's head off to the Bowl of Embers. So you're probably, like I said, you're going to see a lot of familiar faces in these trials, because if you're familiar with previous Final Fantasies, you probably know these guys by various names. You probably are familiar with them as Espers, or Aeons, or Eidolons, or Guardian Forces, but in this instance, they're the bad guys. Final Fantasy XIV turned them all into villains, and so we've got to fight all of them, and it starts with Ifrit. And away we go. So we're off and running. We're gonna try and mow down Ifrit here as fast as we can. So he's going to do a whole bunch, because Ifrit is the fire enemy of Final Fantasy XIV in this game. We have to deal with all of his fire-based attacks. He's going to breathe fire on us. He's going to try and get fire to spawn underneath us. And then he's got a whole bunch of other fun little things for us to deal with, which we'll be seeing in a moment. These infernal nails. Now, normally I would go after these, but I'm not going to. It is possible at the level I'm at and at the strength that I'm at that I can skip this, because if I, under normal circumstances, if you don't destroy those infernal nails, it's instant death. But because of where I am, I don't need to worry about that. So now it's a race to try and prevent him from spawning clones of himself. And we got it. Yeah, what would normally happen if we don't kill him fast enough is he'll create clones of himself that are invincible, that dash across the screen. And you have to avoid them. So, Ifrit is out of the way. And then, next up, we're going to head to the Howling Eye to confront Garuda. Garuda is one of the enemies that for this particular game that's not as well known as the others many of the others that we're going to be confronting. And in the context of the 2.0 story, she's who you fight last among her kind. There's Ifrit, there's Garuda, and there's another one in between who we will not be showing off in this run just because of the second one that you would normally fight in 2.0. In hard mode, it is possible to beat them, but it would take an incredibly long time to do that. And so it just wouldn't be feasible to do that in a marathon setting. So that's why we're just skipping past the one in the middle and taking on Garuda and her Screaming Fury, where she just launches feathers into the rocks. And revels in the fact that she did that. Yeah, so as you can tell, Garuda is a wind elemental who is not afraid to show us off one very creepy smile. And so we're off. Yeah, I want to try and damage her as quickly as possible in order to get her to move directly into her next phase as soon as possible. Yeah, along the way, she might also try and spawn some of those. Yeah, she did. Razor plumes. Now, you may have noticed these pillars and these rock pillars in the middle of the screen. What's normally supposed to happen is that you have to destroy them because they'll actually destroy the pillars, slowly but surely. And you need them to be as intact as possible, or else when Garuda unleashes her ultimate attack, which is this, it would kill you. Alright, so now we just have Garuda by herself again. Now we also have to watch out for her little whirlwinds that she has spawning on the field. Thankfully, this is a nice little safe spot. And then I can unleash my ultimate attack right at her. And so we've plucked her feathers. And they get scattered all over the place. So that takes care of her. Next up is it going to be a trip to the Horror Eater with a confrontation with Leviathan. Yeah, Leviathan not as well known as a lot of the other creatures that we're seeing here, but has been in quite a few Final Fantasies. Perhaps my personal favorite is seeing Leviathan in 7. So, since Leviathan being the sea creature that they are, we have to get sent out to the field of battle by this ship. And so the captain is taking us where we need to go. He's giving directions to his crew. And they're going to prepare us for battle. Starting with a couple of warning shots at Leviathan. And knowing that he's under attack. Yeah, and there we are. In case you don't know where we are, we're not actually on the ship. You'll see where we are in a moment as Leviathan returns fire. And then proceeds to come and say hello with a more close-up approach. So, with their task done, yeah, we were being towed on this giant platform. So the ship goes and turns away and leaves everything to us. And they send us off with one final salute. And so here comes Leviathan. Emerging from the water and ready to try and drown us. Yeah, definitely as big and bad as you would expect him to be. Yeah, just like so many like him from previous Final Fantasies, he's not on our side, so we gotta do away with him. Oh, wow. That was actually a very quick start there. Yeah, he'll dive away from time to time. And so now it's just us trying to damage him as much as possible and waiting for his friends. So now we got to deal with these Sahagin. Yeah, like I said, these guys are the Zoras of the game. Like I said, these guys aren't going to sell you slippers for 500 rupees. The biggest worry I need to worry about with the Sahagin is that they don't paralyze me. Alright, that's been done away with. I don't need to worry about what's going on right now. I can just focus on this. Oh, he's not invincible. Okay, I have to stop attacking. Yeah, we need him to go downstairs. Oh, wow. Okay, this is really unexpected. He is not supposed to do this. Alright, fine. Well, that's how it's gonna be. And he's still invincible? Are you kidding? Okay, I think the game may have glitched. If the game is glitched, like, seriously. Yeah, if the game has glitched where Leviathan is permanently invincible, I am not going to be impressed. I have never seen this happen before. Yeah, take your invincibility off, Leviathan. What did I ever do to you to make you do something like that? That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in this fight ever. Yeah, and not surprisingly, it took me twice as long to finish this. That should not have happened. That's a glitch I have never seen before. But the good news is we won, thankfully. Thankfully, we did what we were supposed to do and we won. But hey, this is Rogue-a-rama, right? The marathon of weird speedrun games. So, anyway. Next up, a trip to the striking tree. And a date with Ramuh. Ramuh, of course, one of the more familiar characters in previous Final Fantasies. Known for his use of thunder and lightning. Oh, it's not a normal in a marathon either. But yeah, I can tell you from personal experience that has never happened before with Leviathan. I've never seen him go invincible like that and then hold on to it for such a prolonged amount of time. Normally what's supposed to happen is that I just keep bleeding him out. And then he does his ultimate attack, and then I just go in for the kill. But yeah, that is so weird. But at least we can now move on and deal with Ramuh and his notoriously huge beard. Yeah. Let's see if we can shock him. Here we go. Yeah, Ramuh is actually going to be one of the harder fights in this run. Just because he has a lot more abilities that can do a lot more damage against you. And he also has abilities like this one here where he's targeting me right now. This is the Terror ability, which permanently freezes you until you get shocked by something from one of his attacks. So now that that's taken off, we can continue. We're ultimately waiting for his friends to arrive. Which is right now. Oh, he held on. Yeah, he just held on. One more to go. And finish it off. Now I need to save myself here. Yeah, as the red mage, I do have the ability to save myself with healing. Which is very useful. Get myself set up so that we can go for some really devastating damage. Alright, so I've been teared again, but what's happening right now is that I need to get this targeting off of me, which I can do by running through 3 of these. Therefore, I am fine now. And then we can just open it up. Now with my abilities reloaded again. Ah, he got me with the terror again. Ah. But I should still be able to get this off, which I did. There we go. Yeah, thankfully I was able to get my ultimate attack off. And so Ramu, as a result, short circuits and disappears. Alright. Now, we get to go and take a visit to the Akafa Amphitheater, where we're going to be confronting Shiva. Yeah. Unlike her contemporaries, though, Shiva does not start out by being introduced under the same ways that we've seen the others. Shiva does things differently. In fact, Shiva doesn't even start out as Shiva. Yeah. Who is this young lady?
You should never have come here, warrior of light. I labor only to forge a lasting peace. A peace you would deny us out of ignorance and blind faith. No matter. If it is our fate to be at odds, then it is mine to strike you down.
So she starts glowing, and it's the worst time for us to get a headache.
We whom gods and men have forsaken shall be the instruments of our own deliverance. Partake of my flesh. Fill this vessel with your light. Walk amongst your brothers and sisters once more. Oh, Saint Shiva, still the hatred within our hearts and bless us with eternal grace.
Yeah, this young lady just entombed herself in ice. And basically turned herself into Final Fantasy XIV's version of Elsa. Yeah, sadly we can't let it go here. We have to fight her. Yeah, everything about her is cold. Even her hair is frozen solid. And so away we go. Yeah, she'll have a whole bunch of fancy snow and ice attacks in store for us. The big trick is going to be trying to avoid the ones that really matter. Yeah, that one is unavoidable. We can't avoid that one. Now she's going to bring in some friends. Alright, so yeah, we can't do any more damage to her. For now, at least. Holy cow, she should have already disappeared. Wow, another glitch? What's going on? Wow, really? Yeah, I should have at least been able to damage her some more. But in any event, yeah, she has to take a victory lap because she thinks that she's gonna take us down. And even kick us in the head, too. Curb stomp us. And then we can start attacking her again. Yeah, Shiva, why you gotta be like that? Yeah, don't worry, we have the perfect way to take care of you. Yeah, you'll also notice the music has gone from Gregorian chant to full-blown Gran Turismo. And so, as a result, Shiva starts to melt and ends up turning back into the girl she started as. Yeah, so we definitely made her chill out. Alright, next up in our showcase of trials, we're gonna take a battle on the big bridge here against an enemy that is not like the others, not like Ifrit or Ramu or Shiva, but is also a Final Fantasy character that's known really well, and has very iconic theme music. That would be Gilgamesh. Yeah, Gilgamesh, of course, one of the most notorious side villains in Final Fantasy history, even has the little green chicken for a pet. Too much musical whiplash. Yeah, let's go ahead and confront Gilgamesh himself. Yeah, Gilgamesh has a lot of tricks up his sleeve, as you will soon see.
It's Toad, your favorite!
Including turning us into a frog. And we can't damage him while we're in frog mode, so we gotta run away from him, and also his chicken, which has the ability to damage us while we're stuck as being a frog. Alright, we're out of this mode, but now he shrinks us. Yeah, he has a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
How do you like that?
I don't like it at all.
Rocket punch! Fine. I admit
Okay,
it.
good. I got him to go into his crouch.
Fighting all 8 of you is just too much for me.
Yeah, he got a confusion on us, which makes us not able to control ourselves for 30 seconds. Thankfully, I was able to force him to go to his knees, so I will not be affected fully by this.
Why, I've been
But I'll
had.
stop to keep
This is
fighting him
far
once
from
I
the
get out of
strongest
confusion.
spears. I feel so betrayed.
Yeah, and he did say all 8 of us because, of course,
Goodness gracious.
this takes into assumption
remembered
that you are doing this under normal circumstances. So yeah, he bails, and we have to chase after him while also dealing with some enemies along the way. Yeah, he brought a whole bunch of friends, and they all gotta be taken down. Alright, all taken care of. And now Gilgamesh Part 2.
I must say, I quite enjoy these tussles. And understand me that I will pound you silly!
Yeah, he
Ha-ha!
shrunk me again. Yeah, you'll notice that when I'm shrunk, I have a lot less ability to do damage, which is just part of the trolling that Gilgamesh does to you. And he's turned me into a toad again. Thankfully, he won't do it again after this round. And yeah, his chickens will keep continuing to pursue us. Now we also have to deal with all these whirlwinds. Yeah, watch out for that one. He might be hungry too. Yeah, I was able to get his fletch off just in time, or his strength just in time before I could get off my fletch. So now I have to wait for the perfect timing to jump in with my sword skills, which would be now. Get this off in time.
I won't go
Yep,
down
that'll
so
do.
easily.
Oh, yeah, too well. And so he's down on his knees.
Well then.
So yeah, We forced him to stop fighting.
That's enough of a beating for now.
Yeah, and he's gonna make a break for it. But how's he gonna do that? By trying to use his pets to escape. Suffice it to say, it didn't go over so well. And what happens is that you actually face him again later. What's interesting about him, though, is that he's actually an optional boss in this game. He's not required. Just like in quite a number of other Final Fantasies, he's not a mandatory boss. Alright, that's 6 down, 2 to go. So now, time for a trip to Thornmarch to fight the unlikeliest enemy ever, Moogles. Yes, you are not seeing that wrong. We are going to be confronting Moogles in Thornmarch. Yeah, the lovable, furry, white creatures with the bat wings that end most of their sentences with Kupo. Yeah, even they are enemies you have to fight in this game too. And I hope you guys are fans of The Nightmare Before Christmas, because I think that Square Enix decided to pluck the theme song for this place right from that movie. Yeah, these are all the little guys we gotta fight. Yeah, they're all gonna try and take me down. Yeah, he's got his little sword and shield. That's so cute. And away we go. So here's the funny thing about Thornmarch. The more Moogles you kill, the faster the music gets. So if you're trying to sing along to the theme song from The Nightmare Before Christmas, it's probably gonna be a little hard for you. Yeah, because as we kill more and more Moogles, the song just keeps getting faster. Ooh, one shot, nice. Alright, your turn. He's down. And now the music's just simply unsingable. Am I fighting Chocobos next? Well, not in this run, but there is a place where you do eventually fight them. So, the Moogles will get back up and start flying, and they're all chanting "Hail to the King," because, yeah, it's not just these guys we're fighting. Coming in with a fancy light show is their king, Moggle Mog the 12th. And as you can imagine, he's not very impressed with what we've been doing. So he sends down his ultimate attack. Now we have to start killing his subjects again. And this time we have to do it in order to minimize the effect of the king's ultimate attack. If we don't, it's going to be not very good for us. I'm going to cut you down right now. Oh, try and get away from this. No luck. Once again, I'm being hypnotized. Alright, so I've killed the mandatory 4. Now that I've gotten 4 down, we can focus on defeating the king. If I do it with any less than 4, I have to endure the full brunt of the king's ultimate attack, which is this. But he's been dethroned. Save the Moogles. I'm glad you guys are into this. That puts a smile on my face. And so, the defeated subjects, seeing their king fallen, are forced to retreat. And fly back into the forest that from which they came. Alright, and so for the final trial that I'll be showing off for this particular run here, we're going to make a journey to a place that has a very notorious reputation, the Steps of Faith. This place is known as the last challenge that you have to do in the Realm Reborn story. After you've done the main story, you do a whole bunch of patched story content after that, and this is the last thing you have to do as far as combat is concerned. You have to take on this dragon, and you have to do it as he traverses from one side of a bridge to another. And what makes this place so notorious is that when this battle was originally introduced, this boss required nothing short of the most perfect teamwork. If you didn't have it, you could not beat this guy. He was going to make it successfully to his goal, and he was going to win, and you were going to have to start this fight all over again. And what it caused was a schism that anyone who had to come here and try this again through what was known as a try roulette would absolutely refuse to do it. If they got this for their try roulette, they would not even be bothered. They would just bolt immediately and leave a whole bunch of people who had yet to complete the dungeon, yet to complete this challenge, to suffer and hope that they could somehow get 7 people who were actually willing to step up and help out. So it caused, because of this phenomenon, it created what was basically an hourglass effect, where it was very likely that the next expansion after this one, known as Heaven's Ward, was going to have a very low number of people who were actually in it and a whole bunch of people who weren't. And so Square Enix was basically left with no alternative but to nerf this fight. It got that bad that Square Enix had no choice but to nerf this. But that can really show you the mentality of the players in this game, that they're willing to refuse to help out anyone else and just look out for number one, as it were. Alright, so now I've got it set up where I can do my most potent attacks. And now we can just focus on Bishop. So you'll notice he's been stopping to do huge AoE attacks. He's doing them on cannons, but there are a whole bunch of things that are part of this dungeon that you are required to use for weakening him. You have cannons, you have catapults, you have snares, you have fire powder kegs. You just have a whole bunch of stuff that you're required to use in order to get yourself a victory here. Because, like I said, this used to require nothing but perfect teamwork, and then when Square Enix was left with no choice but to nerf this fight, you still had to use the required mechanics, but it made life a lot easier for the people who were still struggling to get through. Fortunately, I was one of the people who was able to get through before they nerfed this fight. And so I do have proof of me doing that. So I feel very fortunate to have been able to prove that it could be done under the old ways. But Fish Hap is about to go down, and we're about to call time. So not just yet. Once I've left the trial, that's when time will be called. And one thing we'll get to end this on, the way that you celebrate in the game when you get to see it with my Mikote, the ear flicker, that is so adorable, and I love that so much. And so that is time. And they never saved your progress ever again. But yeah, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is the run for our trials for the Stormblood with the dungeons as well. It was really cool to be able to do this for you guys. Thank you to everyone at Rogue-a-rama for having me as part of this. I'm really grateful and fortunate to get this opportunity to be part of this marathon. And like I said, when I started doing the dungeons, there are a lot of big things coming up in the next few months. So I hope that you'll take the opportunity to see the game, see what it's all about. And we do have our own guild known as a free company of this game called Tales of Eorzea, spelled E-O-R-Z-E-A, on the Exodus server, which is a North American server. So if you're interested in this game and you need some people to team up with, come look us up. We'd be happy to have you as part of our little guild, and let's go and do the new expansion and the Final Fantasy 15 crossover in a few days with a lot of excitement and enthusiasm. So thanks very much, everyone, for watching. Keep enjoying the Rogue-a-rama event. Keep donating towards the cause. It's a great cause, Able Gamers. I hope you'll continue to support it. And we'll hopefully see you again someday. So, as they say in the game, may you ever walk in the light of the crystal. Thanks, everyone.